There's this news about a new coronavirus 90-minute test. That sounds good news for Birmingham University.
Yeah, so this is the University of Birmingham, been working with a company based in Oxford. And as you said, it's a 90-minute test as opposed to the sort of 24-hour period we expect with the turnaround of the test at the moment. It's a device about the size of 2 shoe boxes, sits on a desk. I went to see the first one that's being produced in action and to find out why reducing the time for a test is so important. This is the machine that will be rolled out for the new test for coronavirus, and it gives a result in minutes rather than hours. But why is that time saving so important?
So you can isolate people, you can track the people who might have the virus. If you're coming to work or you're an NHS member of staff, being able to test somebody in 90 minutes means we can stop people from coming in who are carrying the virus and asymptomatic and prevent them from spreading it to others at work.
Samples from COVID patients at the nearby Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Birmingham have been used in this research. This new test owes a debt to them. And the good news is, while this system does work with the familiar swab test, where you push that swab right to the back of your nose and throat, it'll also work with the saliva test. So you can just spit in a tube like this and send it off to get your results. The researchers say this test is as accurate, possibly even more so than the existing NHS testing, and there's capacity to produce millions of tests themselves.
But this will allow us to make testing more localised, more rapid, and without the problems we've had before in terms of availability of reagents, of chemicals, and allow us to hopefully lock down coronavirus a lot quicker.
3 months ago, a coronavirus test took 6 hours using all the machines in this lab. Now it takes 90 minutes using just this box.
Now, at the end of last week, we were told that Sandwell was an area of concern. What's happened since then?
So this is because there have been about 85 cases in the previous week in Sandwell, which is more than you'd expect. And so people were a little bit worried. So the council introduced some extra advice to people about what they should do. So obviously, stay 2 metres apart, wash your hands, wear a mask. That stayed the same. But then on top of that, there was a layer of extra advice. So, for example, if you were shielding in Sandwell, the advice is stay shielding if you can. And then beyond that, also people in Sandwell should not go and mix in other people's homes, which is obviously different advice to the rest of us. The idea is to try and control what might be a mini resurgence. These are still very low numbers. Now, over the weekend, I don't think we've seen any sort of uptick in hospitals attendances in Sandwell. And also, we've got the week-on-week figures released today, which actually show a slight drop in cases. So the hope is all this will allow them to stay on top of the problem. And it's worth saying, because I know this is quite worrying if you live in Sandwell, that Public Health England saying this is an area of concern is sort of like the sort of lowest possible thing they can say when they're worried. There's still a long way to go before you get to local lockdown. So the hope is, by doing all this, we won't get that far and we can stay on top of the disease.
I have to say, it is still a bit confusing, isn't it? Rules have been sort of relaxed, but people are still not quite sure how many of us can get together at any one time.
Yeah, this is difficult because stay at home, save lives was just an easy message. So, for example, if you're organising a birthday meal in a restaurant at the moment, if you have to stay inside because it's raining, 2 households can meet at one table. You probably end up at lots of different tables, but actually the same number of people could all sit at one table outside if it's nice and sunny. There's going to be a lot of this as we sort of shift out of lockdown. So the advice I think is the best is actually, if you go to the BBC website and look up coronavirus, you will find lots of advice on just what you can do in specific situations. And the thing is, by following that advice and washing your hands, wearing a mask, staying 2 metres apart, that's how we stop the spread and that's how we stay safe.
David, thank you.